Hello and welcome to our podcast episode number 58, an epic post-apocalyptic battle for survival in a desert wasteland. I am Timothy and I am here with my old friend Thomas. Tonight we are going to talk about a film called Mad Max, Fury Road. As always, spoilers ahead, Mad Max. Fury Road is a 2015 post-apocalyptic action film about survivor Max Rockatansky, who joins forces with Imperator Furiosa against cult leader Immortan Joe and his army, leading to a lengthy road battle. Well, Thomas, did you enjoy Mad Max? Fury Road.
Well, Timothy, I have to say that I wasn't as impressed with Mad Max Fury Road as you might have been. In fact, I would go so far as to say that it was one of my least favorite films of all time. I found the story to be rather confusing, and the characters underdeveloped. There were also several scenes which seemed unnecessarily violent and gratuitous to me.
Well, now, Thomas, I must admit that I did enjoy Mad Max Fury Road quite a bit more than you seem to have done. While I can understand some of your concerns about the story and character development, I felt that the action scenes made up for those shortcomings. The world building in them, this film was simply outstanding, and I found myself completely immersed in this post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Well, Tim, I think we can agree on one thing. The production design and special effects were top-notch. The desert landscapes and the armored vehicles created a visually stunning world. But for me, that wasn't enough to make up for the lack of depth in the story and characters.
I can see your point there, Tom. However, I believe that Mad Max Fury Road was never intended to be a deep character study or philosophical exploration of the human condition. It was meant to be an action-packed thrill ride from beginning to end, and in that regard, it certainly delivered for me. As far as characters go, I thought that Furiosa and Max were both well-developed enough throughout the film to keep my attention.
Well, Timothy, while I can appreciate your viewpoint on the matter, I still think there's room for improvement in terms of character development and storytelling. For instance, the film's portrayal of women was quite problematic. While Furiosa is a strong and capable character, she's also the only well-rounded female character in the entire movie. The rest are reduced to mere objects or damsels in distress. And let's not forget about the scene where Max is literally carrying the unconscious body of one of these women around like a trophy.
That is a fair point, Tom. I must admit that Mad Max Fury Road does have some issues when it comes to representing women. However, I would argue that this was more of an issue with the source material rather than the film itself. This movie is based on an older franchise which had similar problems. As for Furiosa being the only well-rounded female character in the movie, I think we should also consider her background and upbringing within Immortan Joe's cult. It's possible that she was the only one who managed to escape this restrictive environment and develop into a strong, independent person.
Well, even if we take your points about Furiosa and her background into account, there are still other issues with Mad Max Fury Road's storyline. For example, the plot twist involving Max's blood being the key to saving Furiosa's life was both predictable and convenient. It felt like a cheap way to wrap up their characters' arcs without any real depth or emotion. And let's not forget about the countless explosions and deaths that happen throughout. The film, it all just feels very gratuitous and over the top at times.
Well, I can see where you're coming from, Tom. I must admit that I didn't have any problems with either the plot twist or the level of violence in Mad Max Fury Road. In fact, I would argue that those elements were integral to the film's post-apocalyptic setting and themes. The world has fallen apart, and survival is often bloody and brutal. As for the plot twist involving Max's blood, It wasn't meant to be surprising or unexpected. It was simply a way for the characters to find common ground and work together against their mutual enemy.
Well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on this one time. While you found Mad Max, Fury Road to be an exciting and visually stunning action film, I thought it was a shallow mess with some glaring issues when it comes to storytelling and character development. But hey, that's what makes movie discussions like these so interesting.
Said Tom. And now let's talk about some interesting trivia related to Mad Max Fury Road. Did you know that this film was originally intended as a reboot of the franchise? However, due to various production delays and changes in cast and crew members, it eventually became its own continuation of the story. Another fun fact is that many of the vehicles used in the film are actually functional and driven by stunt performers during shooting. This includes the Doofwagon, a large truck with speakers and drums played by an actual band called the Melodic Weapon.
That's fascinating, Time. It really goes to show just how dedicated the cast and crew were to making this movie as authentic as possible. Speaking of which, did you know that Tom Hardy actually learned how to drive a manual transmission for his role as Max Rockatansky? And he also spent months training with a stunt coordinator to perfect his driving skills on camera. It's amazing what actors will do to get into character.
Absolutely, Tom. I had no idea about that, but it really does demonstrate Hardy's commitment to the role in the film as a whole. Another interesting piece of trivia is that Charlize Theron, who played Imperator Furiosa, actually spent time with women in Afghanistan during research for her character. She wanted to understand what life was like for them living under strict gender norms and restrictions similar to those found within Immortan Joe's cult. It's amazing how much effort the actors put into bringing their characters to life.
I couldn't agree more, Tim. Now, moving on from our discussion of Mad Max. Fury Road's production and cast, let's talk about its legacy in popular culture. The film has been widely acclaimed for its innovative action sequences and stunning visual effects. In fact, it was nominated for 10 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director, which is quite rare for an action movie. And of course, there have been numerous references to Mad Max. Fury Road in various forms of media since its release from video games to comic books. This film has left a lasting impact on popular culture.
That's absolutely true, Thomas. The influence of Mad Max Fury Road can be seen across multiple genres and mediums. Its post-apocalyptic setting and themes have inspired countless other films, television shows, and video games. And let's not forget about the iconic characters like Furiosa Max and Immortan Joe, who've become pop culture icons in their own right.
Well, said Tim, I think we can all agree that Mad Max Fury Road is a film that will be remembered for years to come. While it may not have been everyone's cup of tea, there's no denying its impact on the industry and popular culture as a whole. And with any luck, we might even see more films set in this post-apocalyptic universe in the future.
Speaking of which, Tom, I wanted to discuss the writing process for Mad Max Fury Road with you. The film's director, George Miller, has said in interviews that he spent months working on the storyboards before even writing a word of dialogue. This approach allowed him to visualize every scene and action sequence before committing them to paper. What are your thoughts on this method compared to traditional script writing, where dialogue and character arcs are usually developed simultaneously?
Well, Tim, I think it's quite interesting how George Miller approached the writing process for Mad Max Fury Road. While some writers might find it difficult to separate their visual ideas from the actual storytelling, this method seems to have worked well for him. in creating an action-packed and visually stunning film. However, I also think that traditional scriptwriting has its merits as it allows for more organic character development and dialogue exchanges between actors. In my opinion, a blend of both approaches might be the most effective way to create a well-rounded movie with strong characters and engaging storylines. It's important not to lose sight of what makes good cinema great. Compelling narratives that resonate with audiences on an emotional level. The visual elements should only serve as a means to enhance these narrative components rather than overshadow them entirely.
I couldn't agree more, Tom. It's important for filmmakers not to get lost in the spectacle of their movies and forget about telling a meaningful story. And speaking of storylines, let's discuss some of the themes present in Mad Max: Fury Road. The movie touches upon topics such as environmental degradation, the commodification of AM women, and the dangers of extremism. Do you think these themes were handled effectively throughout the film? And how do they relate to our own contemporary society?
Well, Tim, I think Mad Max: Fury Road did an admirable job of addressing these complex themes within the context of a post-apocalyptic action movie. The film serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of humanity's excess and our inability to coexist peacefully with one another. The degradation of the environment is shown through the desolate landscapes and scarcity of resources, while the objectification and commodification of women are clear examples of how extremism can lead to horrific outcomes. In terms of relating these themes to contemporary society, it's not hard to see parallels between the world of Mad Max, Fury Road, and our own. From climate change and resource depletion to political polarization and gender inequality, there are numerous issues that mirror those explored in the film. By confronting these topics head-on through compelling storytelling, movies like Mad Max: Fury Road can inspire important conversations about how we as a society might be able to address these challenges before it's too late.
That's very true, Tom. It's important for filmmakers to use their platform to address contemporary issues and spark meaningful conversations. Speaking of which, let's talk about some of the standout performances in Mad Max: Fury Road. I personally found Charlize Theron's portrayal of Imperator Furiosa to be absolutely captivating. Her character is not only strong and resilient, but also incredibly complex, with a backstory that adds depth to her actions throughout the film. Tom Hardy, who plays Max Rockatansky, also delivers an impressive performance as the enigmatic loner who reluctantly joins Furiosa's cause. His chemistry with Theron is palpable and adds another layer of intrigue to their dynamic on screen.
Absolutely, Tim. Charlize Theron's portrayal of Furiosa was nothing short of phenomenal. She brought such an incredible combination of strength, vulnerability, and determination to the role that it's no wonder she received widespread critical acclaim for her performance. And I completely agree with you about Tom Hardy as Max Rockatansky. He managed to capture both the gruff exterior and the hidden depths of his character perfectly. The dynamic between them was truly one of the highlights of the film, and their performances helped elevate Mad Max: Fury Road into something much more than just your average action movie.
It's also worth mentioning some of the supporting cast members who played such crucial roles in bringing this dystopian world to life. Nicholas Hoult as Nux was particularly chilling with his portrayal of a devoted follower turned unlikely ally. And Hugh Keays-Byrne as Immortan Joe, the megalomaniacal leader of the Citadel, was absolutely terrifying in both his physical presence and his ruthlessness on screen. The entire cast did an incredible job bringing their characters to life and making Mad Max: Fury Road such a visceral and engaging viewing experience.
You're right, Tim. The entire cast deserves credit for their outstanding performances throughout the film. It's also worth noting that many of the supporting roles were filled by talented newcomers to Hollywood, which speaks volumes about director George Miller's commitment to discovering fresh talent in front of and behind the camera. And let's not forget about Zoe Kravitz as Toast, Riley Keough as Capable, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley as the splendid Angharad, Abby Lee as the Dag, or Courtney Eaton as Cheeto Redman, all of whom brought unique and memorable aspects to their respective characters. Mad Max. Fury Road truly showcases the power of a talented ensemble cast working together seamlessly to create an unforgettable cinematic experience.
Well, Tom, I think it's also worth discussing the cultural significance of Mad Max. Fury Road and how it has impacted popular culture since its release in 2015. The film served as a major comeback for the franchise after a 3 decades hiatus, and it quickly became a sensation among both fans and critics alike. It was praised not only for its stunning visuals and thrilling action sequences, but also for its progressive themes and strong female characters. In many ways, Mad Max Fury Road felt like a breath of fresh air in an era dominated by superhero films and franchise reboots.
I couldn't agree more, Tim. The cultural impact of Mad Max Fury Road has been immense. From inspiring countless cosplayers and fan art creations to influencing everything from fashion trends to music videos, this film has left an indelible mark on popular culture. It's also worth mentioning how the film sparked important conversations about gender representation in Hollywood and beyond. The strong female characters played by Charlize Theron and Zoe Kravitz, among others, challenged traditional gender roles and offered audiences a more nuanced portrayal of women in action films.
That's very true, Tom. The film served as an important reminder that there is still room for innovation and progress within the industry. And speaking of progress, I can't help but wonder if we might see another installment in the Mad Max franchise someday soon. With the recent success of films like Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel, it seems like audiences are hungry for more diverse stories featuring strong female leads. What do you think about the possibility of a new Mad Max film set in this post-apocalyptic universe?
Well, Tim, I have to say that I would love to see another installment in the Mad Max franchise. While it's true that the original trilogy served as a fitting conclusion to Max Rockatansky's story, there's still plenty of potential for exploration within this rich and complex universe. Imagine the possibilities for new stories featuring some of our favorite characters like Furiosa or the Vuvalini. And with George Miller at the helm once again, I have no doubt that we could expect another visually stunning and thought-provoking addition to this iconic series.
That's very exciting to hear, Tom. It would be fascinating to see how future installments in the Mad Max franchise might build upon the themes and characters introduced in Fury Road, while also pushing boundaries even further. Only time will tell if we'll get another chance to venture back into this post-apocalyptic world. But one thing is certain, Mad Max Fury Road has left an indelible mark on pop culture that will undoubtedly be felt for years to come.
Well, Tim, I think we've certainly covered quite a bit about Mad Max Fury Road tonight. From its stunning visuals and thrilling action sequences to its powerful themes and progressive storytelling, there's no denying that this film has left an indelible mark on the world of cinema. It's truly a masterpiece that deserves all the praise it has received over the years.
Indeed, Tom, I couldn't agree more.
And speaking as someone who generally enjoys action films, Mad Max
Fury Road was a real standout for me. The combination of exceptional performances, captivating storytelling, and visually stunning imagery made it an unforgettable viewing experience. As we wrap up tonight's discussion about this incredible film, I just want to say how much I appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts on such a beloved movie with you and all our wonderful listeners.
Well said, Tim. And thank you all for joining us once again on another exciting episode of Tim and Tom's Film Nights. We hope that you enjoyed our discussion about Mad Max Fury Road as much as we did, and that it inspired some new perspectives or insights into this incredible film. As always, we love hearing from our viewers, so please don't hesitate to leave a comment. Subscribe to our channel and give us a like if you enjoyed the video. We truly appreciate your support. Until next time, ciao for now.